you do once in a while. No, this is a level, a state that you're supposed to be in at all times. And that is the manzila or the level of Alkhushu'a. Alkhushu'a, always they translate it as humbleness. And when we say the word khushu', the first thing comes in our mind is the khushu' in the salah. When we have the devotion, the concentration in salah, which is one of the means of khushu'. One of the ways of khushu' is that we have khushu' in the salah. But the khushu', again, is not an action that you will do once in a while. It's a state that the person is supposed to be in at all times. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to have this quality. So the believers, they have to have khushu' at all times. So Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, he talked about this manzila, this level that a Muslim should be in. And when we say it should be in at all times, it will clarify some of the misunderstanding that we would have when it comes to khushu'. Because some people think this is a physical action. This has nothing to do with physical actions. This is a deed that is exclusively by the heart, done by the heart only. Has nothing to do with looking as in state of khushu'. So a person can be standing in the salah and look like he's in khushu', there's no such a thing. And that's why Hudayfa radiallahu anhu, he said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَخُشُوعِ النِّفَاقِ. Be warned from the khushu' of the nifaq, the khushu' of hypocrisy. That the person looks like he's in khushu'. There's no such a thing as looking that you have khushu', because this is a deed done by the heart. What a person looks like, he looks like he is following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's what we're supposed to be doing in the salah and other than the salah. So if a person praying like the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam, this is the proper way. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course, he had the perfect khushu' whatsoever, but the khushu' is in the heart. So physically, a person can look perfectly good, but the heart is totally in a different path whatsoever. So what is this level of al-khushu'? First, he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in Surah Al-Hadid, verse number 16, أَلَمْ يَأْنِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ. أَلَمْ يَأْنِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, which means, isn't it about time, if it's correct to say that informally, this is what it means. Isn't it about time for the believers that their hearts would humble and devote itself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the dhikr, to the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what brought down from the truth. So the devotion and the khushu' is to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and have this devotion and this humbleness. And as Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he said, مَا كَانَ بَيْنَ إِسْلَامِنَا وَبَيْنَ أَنْ عَاتَبَنَا اللَّهُ بِهَذِهِ الْآيَةِ إِلَّا أَرْبَعُ سِنِينَ. He said radiallahu anhu, that the time that was between our Islam and when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, عَاتَبَنَا means, what's عَاتَبَنَا in English? Al-itab, when you're blamed of something. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blamed us of our situation, because the ayah says, isn't it about time, right? This is a blame. That they are reminded in such a way that where is your khushu'? It was between their Islam and this ayah only 4 years. Only 4 years. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned them not to be like those who received the books before. فَطَالَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْأَمَدُ فَقَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. Do not be like the people of the book, when the time had been prolonged for them, so their hearts became hard. A person, when he repented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first days of repentance, his khushu', his humbleness, his devotion, and so on. And then after some time, the heart becomes hard as a result of the sins, forgetfulness, many things. Right? So the blame here, or the reminder from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they are the best people after the Prophets, the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to be the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was pleased with them, and they were pleased with him. And the ayah comes, isn't it about time for you to have khushu'? Reminding them that this is something that they should constantly be in. And also, when Surah Al-Mu'minun was revealed, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اسْتَبْطَأَ قُلُوبَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ فَعَتَبَهُمْ عَلَى رَأْسِ 13 سَنَةٍ. It's from the same verse, either after 4 or after 13. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. The believers are successful. What is the first thing mentioned in Surah Al-Mu'minun from the qualities of the believers? Those who have khushu' in their salah. In the tafsir session, we talked about the characteristics of the believers in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah. Right? And Surah Al-Mu'minun has another set of characteristics for the believers. But in Surah Al-Mu'minun, it talks about the success. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. They are indeed successful, the believers. And al-falah means it's success that never fails whatsoever. It's an everlasting success. Everlasting khair and goodness that is never terminated. It's not up and down, right? It's not once in a while. It's a continuous falah and success forever. So these are the characteristics that is mentioned in Surah Al-Mu'minun to complete that iman, for them to be or to receive the ultimate success. There's other characteristics of the believers, right? For them to be saved from the hellfire, to be in the hellfire forever. But some of the believers, they will be punished in the hellfire, right? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not forgive them, right? And if they didn't complete their iman with repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on, some of them will be punished in the hellfire. So al-falah, or the ultimate success, is by fulfilling these characteristics. The first characteristic that was mentioned, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those are the ones that in their salat they are khashi'un, in state of khushu'. And the original meaning of al-khushu' is like al-tawadu'. Something comes from being low. Humbleness comes from al-sukun. Al-sukun means what? This is the opposite of movement. When you are in state of sukun, that means you're not moving. Not physically, but your heart is not moving also. Because the heart goes everywhere, right? And goes to the whole earth more than one time in a very short period of time. So you can be standing in the salah and your heart in Asia, in Africa, in the sea, in the skies, everywhere, right? At work, in the office, at home, many different places. And this is what negates the khushu'. So the khushu' is when the heart is settled. When the heart is all together, is gathered on one thing, focused on one thing, and that is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And that's why you would find in the orders from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the way of the Prophet sallallahu, and that's why there's two aspects to achieve this khushu'. One of which is to follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ. You would find that the salah, we don't rush to it and we say Allahu Akbar. In many of our salah, we would find ourselves all of a sudden, what is this? I said Allahu Akbar, what happened before that? Where I was before that? You find yourself all of a sudden in salah. Where were you before the salah? We're supposed to be preparing ourselves mentally for the salah so that when the salah times come, when we say Allahu Akbar, we're ready for it. But the shaitan takes us all different places so that it's like a person physically running very fast, right? And then all of a sudden stops. The momentum that a person has, the inertia, right, will take the person as if all kinds of things will fall on him. Like hit the brake so hard, what happens? You go forward. So the same thing with all the desires and the worries and things like this, all of a sudden you stand in the line and you say Allahu Akbar, you find all the attack from everything that you were carrying the whole day comes at the time for the salah. That's why if we follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ, preparing ourselves for the salah, from the moment the adhan is called, when we get rid of everything that is making us busy, that we prepare ourselves even before that. One of the means of ubudiyah is al-ribat. To be al-ribat is when a person is guarding the frontiers of the Muslims. And the Prophet ﷺ called the one that is waiting for a salah after salah is in that state of al-ribat, guarding oneself. So the person is waiting for the salah. Then when the salah time approaches, he is getting rid slowly from the things that is taking him away. That's why if there is food, he should start with the food and not with the salah. If a person has to go to the bathroom, he starts with that and not the salah, and so on. Going to the salah in jama'ah in the masjid, making the wudu, walking, getting ourselves to the place of worship. And then you would have sunnah prayer, for example, right? Which is also preparing ourselves for the best of the rewards. And there's the fard salah, you have the dua between the adhan and the iqamah. And you have the recitation of the Quran, many things to prepare ourselves for the most important act of the day, and that's the salah. And that's why you would find the Salatul Fajr, which is the salah that usually a person is not too busy mind-wise with things. You would find the Prophet ﷺ would make it the longest salah. Why? Because the heart is free, somehow. So the Prophet ﷺ would recite in Surah Al-Fajr by 60 ayah, right? And Umar radiallahu anhu, usually he used to recite Surah Yusuf and the like of it, Surah Al-Nahl. Yusuf and Al-Nahl, 2 rak'ah, right? So they would say long surahs in Salatul Fajr, because usually the heart is still not contaminated yet. What makes the person, and the word is bored in Salah, right? It's not tiredness, because if you look at the hour, we stand longer than that. Sometimes after the Salah, talking to each other, right? So it's not the time. The time that a person stands in the Salah when it feels like as if it's a mountain on one's shoulder, it's because the heart is heavy, it's full of filth, right? And this is how, which is unique to the Salah. So when the hearts are clean, then the person will enjoy the Salah. And when the Prophet ﷺ said, وَجُعِلَتْ قُرَّةُ عَيْنِي فِي الصَّلَاةِ, the jewel of my eye has been made in Salah. This is the joy of the Prophet ﷺ when he say Allahu Akbar, he enjoys his Salah. That he would stand up in the night prayer till his foot would swell, alayhi salatu wasalam. And when he was asked about that, he would say, أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا, shouldn't I be a grateful slave? Do we think that the Prophet ﷺ would stand in the night prayer screaming from pain? My foot is hurting, as if it's like a punishment step. Was his joy. He didn't feel the pain in his foot. And we have from the desire of this world something that gets us closer to this, and we mentioned it before. Like you imagine someone, a loved one, that you didn't see for years and years. And all of a sudden they show up, right? You would stand up with that person to speak for 2 hours and you wouldn't feel the pain on your foot, right? Why? Because what's carrying you is not your foot, it's your heart. Your heart is carrying you, right? Because of the joy that you have. So where are we from this level when it comes to the recitation of the Quran and the Salah? It's because of the busyness of our life and the forgetfulness and the luxurious life and many things that takes away from the heart this khushu'a. And we need to compare this to the life of the Prophet ﷺ and the companions radiallahu anhu. And we need to take the means to get to this level, which really, as the ulama they say, and as it's mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and the sayings of the Sahaba and the sayings of the Tabi'een, they really enjoyed their life so much. They had the real happiness in this life. In what? In the Salah, in the Quran, in the good deeds, in sacrificing, and even putting their life when they lose it. Right? This was the moment of joy for them. And it's real joy. It's not just words. It's real joy. To the extent of which that they would say that the people of the night prayer, to them, their joy is much, much more than the people of the night life. When people go out and commit sins at night and they look so happy, those who are standing in the Salah, they are more happier than them. Because this is the real happiness, the one that is free away from intoxications. Right? Human beings intoxicate themselves to think that they're happy. But when a person is not intoxicated and he's happy, that's the real happiness. Right? That you don't feel bad when you look at that person. So this is what khushu'a is, when a person has this sukoon, when the heart is not diverted in many different places. And that's why when he says الخشوع قيام القلب بين يدي الرب بالخضوع والذل والجمعية عليه, which means when the heart is in that state in which it's in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with humbleness, with al-jam'iyya from al-jam', when the heart is all together focused on one thing, and that is seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, when he would stay in the masjid for i'tikaf in Ramadan, for that reason, the main reason for i'tikaf is to get the best of the rewards from the night prayer, to get Laylatul Qadr, because the ibadah in it, the reward in it is better than 1,000 months. It's not the physical actions, people will do the physical actions the same. The Prophet ﷺ would not stay in the masjid so that he would be able to stand up in the night prayer the whole night. No, it's because of when the heart is focused in these days, you don't have anything that take you away. There's no work, there's no nothing, no busyness of anything of this life. That means the reward will be as much, much bigger than a person, his heart is busy. So that's basically the rewards in these types of nights is according to how the heart is focused and have the state of al-khushu'a, where the Prophet ﷺ said, إن العبد لا ينصرف من صلاته ولا يكتب له إلا عشرها تسعها ثمنها مسوى. That a person will finish his salah and only 1/10 of the salah reward is given. 1/9, 1/8, 1/7. Although they did physically the same thing. But where is this big difference between one reward and the other? It's according to the khushu'a, the devotion, the concentration, the focus, and it's all something done by the heart. So as he said, this is consensus that the khushu'a محله القلب. So its place is in the heart, وثمرته على الجوارح, and its fruit is on the different parts of our body. And the Prophet ﷺ رأى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رجلا يعبث بلحيته في الصلاة فقال لو خشع قلب هذا لخشع الجوارح. But the Prophet ﷺ saw a man playing with his beard during the salah. He said, if the heart of this man was in khushu', his body will be in khushu' also. This is a sign that the heart is not in khushu', right? But not the other way around. So if someone is playing in the salah, moving in the salah, looking everywhere in the salah, that means without no doubt that there is no khushu' in the heart. You cannot say, well, we don't know what's in his heart. No, this is a clear sign, right? But if the person looks very humble and looks right on the place of sujood, then mashallah, we do not know what's in his heart. He might be just making a big show off, right? Because khushu' is not something to be seen like this. But the other way, it's like exactly the sins. Someone commit a sin openly, that means what? There is a disease in the heart. We didn't open his heart and see, but that's definitely the case. Because of a disease in the heart, he committed the sin. But if he is so righteous and there's no sins appears from him whatsoever, is that a sign that his heart is clean? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Maybe it's something that he's just showing off, right? So you see the difference between the good deeds and the bad deeds. And also when some of the Sahaba, Hudayfa radiallahu anhu said, إياكم وخشوع النفاق فقيل له وما خشوع النفاق. Hudayfa radiallahu anhu, he was warning the people, beware from the khushu' or the devotion of the nifaq or the hypocrisy. So they asked him, what is it? He said, أن ترى الجسد خاشعا والقلب ليس بخاشع. When you see al-jasad, the body is in state of khushu' when the heart is not. Right? You see the person looks like he's in khushu', but his heart is not. And Umar radiallahu anhu رأى رجلا طأطأ رقبته في الصلاة فقال يا صاحب الرقبة ارفع رقبتك ليس الخشوع في الرقاب إنما الخشوع في القلوب. Umar radiallahu anhu saw a man طأطأ, meaning that he did that to his neck in salah. Right? He's looking so humble and so devoted in the salah like this, right? So he told him, the guy was praying, right? Umar radiallahu anhu told him, Ya sahib al-raqaba, the neck man, right? You, the guy with the neck, because he's having like, doing like this with his neck. The guy with the neck, the khushu' is not in your neck, the khushu' is in your heart. Right? So the khushu' is in the heart. This was not the way of the Prophet ﷺ in his salah, and the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. The salah, the Prophet ﷺ would look at the position of sujood. Some people think that for you to have khushu' you have to close your eyes. The Prophet ﷺ didn't close his eyes in the salah. He would look at the place of the sujood, right? Of course, we have sometimes carnivals on the floors, right? When we make salah, all kinds of lines and everything like this, in which at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when someone gave the Prophet ﷺ a piece of cloth to wear that had lines on it, right? And the Prophet ﷺ returned it back, and he asked this companion in a nice way so that he does not hurt his feeling. He told the one that he gave him this cloth to return it back to him, to bring him something else. Why? إنها ألهتني عن صلاتي آنفا. The Prophet ﷺ said, it made me busy in my salah. Right? When he was making salah, the lines kept the Prophet ﷺ busy. That's the Prophet ﷺ. We would pray in so much different, crazy environment, and we think that, mashallah, we have full concentration. Right? So this is something that they has, of course, an effect. Also, when Aisha radiallahu anha, she saw some young men يمشون ويتمارون في مشيتهم. She saw young men walking as if they're so weak, right, and humble, right, and having zuhd of this dunya. They don't care about this dunya, so they walk like weak people, as if they're poor people and so on. So she said, who are these people? They said, Nussak, they are worshippers, right? They are worshippers, they are like this. So she said, كان عمر بن الخطاب إذا مشى أسرع وإذا قال أسمع وإذا ضرب أوجع وإذا أطعم أشبع وكان هو الناسك حقا. She said when Umar radiallahu anhu used to walk fast, and if he says something, people would hear him, and if he hits, he would really cause pain to the ones that he hit, and if he feeds, he would make them full, and he was the real worshiper, right? So it's not like something that a person would wear, or special clothes for those who have khushu'a, heavy clothes or torn clothes, right? And that's why الزهد, which is another thing, as Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah, he said ليس الزهد أو ليس ذات بلبس الغليظ بأكل الغليظ ولا بلبس العبد, means that it's not by wearing the heavy clothes and by eating the rough food, right? It's something that is in the heart. And of course, following the way of the Prophet ﷺ, not to be extravagant in anything, but it's not by what some might think it's the outside appearance. And Hudayfa radiallahu anhu, he said, أول ما تفقدون من دينكم الخشوع وآخر ما تفقدون من دينكم الصلاة ورب مصل لا خير فيه ويوشك أن تدخل مسجد الجماعة فلا ترى فيهم خاشعا. He said that the first thing that you would lose from your religion is al-khushu'a. The first thing is lost is the khushu'a, and the last thing to be lost in the deen is the salah. There's no salah, there's no deen. And then he said, and how many musalli, person making salah, there's no goodness in him. And very close, you would enter, a time would come that you would enter the masjid, the big masjid, you won't find anyone in the masjid instead of khushu'a. Because this is the first thing that will be taken away when the khushu'a is not present in the heart. And Sahl said, من خشع قلبه لم يقرب منه الشيطان. Whoever his heart is in khushu'a, the shaitan won't come close to him. Of course, the whispers will still be there, right? But, and this is another important issue. When the shaitan whispers to us in our salah, right? If a person is already not in state of khushu'a, the shaitan is leaving him alone, right? He's already taking care of his own self. But if a person tries to make the salah with khushu'a, the shaitan will come to him and remind him of the things that he likes and the things that he misses and so on. And that's why if you pay attention, you will find that the things that comes to your mind in the salah, many times you will not think about it even before the salah. If you try to make khushu'a, things come from nowhere whatsoever. And while you are in the salah, you would think, this is the most important thing, I cannot leave it now. Unless I think about it at this moment, it's going to be a disaster afterwards. I have to finish it now. This is how the shaitan makes the person think. So once the shaitan, he throw into one's mind this thing to make him away from the salah, this is not from your actions. A person does not lose anything from the reward of the salah. If you push it away and you continue with your salah, no loss. But what happens is if you take it from the shaitan and you then start expanding the matter, right, then that takes from the reward of the salah. This is your actions. So the shaitan is not staying with the person the whole time of the salah. No, he just gives you the idea and then he leaves, right? Tomorrow's meeting, and that's it, and he's gone. And then you take that lead, right, and you make the plans and who you're going to see and who you're going to meet and so on and so forth, right? So a person has to be careful knowing the ways of the shaitan so that we would cut these leads. And of course, the khushu'a is a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because again it's a state. So the person before the salah, right, and after the salah and the middle of the salah, the state of dhikr is a constant state that the person is in, not in state of forgetfulness. The salah is of a concern to him. For example, when we pray Salatul Isha, Salatul Fajr, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us life, is it going to be in khushu' or not? The concern is there. Because once this salah that we pray, it's finished. It's not permissible for us to repeat it again. If we say, well, yeah, we heard about khushu', let's just repeat Salatul Isha again, it's still in the time for Isha, we will do a good job with Salatul Isha. It's not permissible, and it's finished, and it's gone, and the person would see it in the day of judgment. Either he would regret it, or he would be very happy of what he did. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful, and that's why the first word we say when we make salam is Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. We seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of our shortcomings. And as Ibn al-Qayyim said, that it's not to make a person giving up from the mercy of Allah. The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so vast. But he said, the one that is, when he finishes his salah, he's free from sin, that's a successful one. We're worried too much about the reward, right? No, you might make your salah and finish your salah and you have sins on you, right? So when you finish the salah without sins, this is a great success. The rewards is another level. So what does that mean? If a person is in the salah, the riyah comes in, the showing off, or the, making things that is wrong and things like this. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us. He talks about many things, but because of the time, maybe we can continue that inshallah next time. But he says that Alkhushu'a as a level of ubudiyyah is, as he always talks about these types of things, is of 3 levels. And this is again when you read the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, you would find these meanings there. The first one, he says, التذلل للأمر, that you would, like we said in Tawadu', here also he says, Al-Amr, the order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you humble yourself to it. Right? And if you don't, then in anything, right, this will affect our salah and our khushu'. This is the khushu' as a state. That you would take the order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in state of humbleness. That total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you show, not physically, you show your weakness. Right? And that you are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are more happy with the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than anything else. Not that the order from Allah, oh, this is another order, how am I going to do it? It's difficult, this and that. No, this is not like that. Because you know that this is from the most wise subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you take it when you know yourself that you are weak, that you are deficient, that you are in need of the help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So your concern is how you're going to fulfill it and so on, but with total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether this is الحكم الديني or الحكم الشرعي يعني أو الحكم القدري, which means whether it's a religious order, قال الله قال رسوله, right, something in the Quran, something in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, or something from the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The hukm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that a person loses something or something happens to the person. You take it with the same humbleness, because you know that this is from the most wise subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's definitely, it's better for you if you would respond as a result of this test with patience and being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on. So it's the total surrender to the orders of Allah, whether it's the religious orders or the universal orders of things that happens into one's life and so on. And that's why he mentioned here the example in the Quran. This is the first one. The second thing is, he says, وَالْإِسْتِسْلَامُ لِلْحُكْمِ, التَّذَلُّ الْأَمْرِ, you humble yourself to the order of Allah. The second thing, al-istislam, which means surrender to the rulings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what I just mentioned. To the hukm, to the ruling of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it's the qadr of Allah or anything in the religion and so on. And the third thing is al-ittida'u li-nadhar al-haqq. And what that means is that the heart and the different parts of the body, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you and He's seeing you subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as a result of that, you would exalt the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is something also to do with the level of al-ihsan, that you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you don't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing you. And then he mentioned the ayah in Surah Al-Rahman, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. For those who fear مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ, those who would fear the مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ has 2 meanings to it. It means that when you stand in the day of judgment in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it also means the exaltation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that a person would fear that. How can he turn away from the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on. So this will bring in the heart this level of khushu', that a person is constantly knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching him. We know that al-qalb huwa mahil nazar al-rabb subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the Prophet ﷺ said, that the heart is the place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees your heart and your actions. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ أَجْسَامِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَىٰ صُوَرِكُم. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at how you look, how fit or weak or strong you are physically, وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرْ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُم. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at your hearts and your actions, not just the hearts, your hearts and your actions, right? So this to refute the false claim that as long as your heart is clean, you can just do whatever you want. This is a big lie. There's no such a thing, right? If the heart is clean, the actions will be clean. If the actions are not clean, if the actions are bad, is disobedient to Allah or against the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, then you can say, Wallahi, the heart is not clean, even if you didn't see the heart. Again, this is a very important thing. So when someone commits a sin, and he's advised this is not haram, this is not permissible, he says, brother, but my heart is clean. Right? As long as my heart is clean, he thinks that heart is clean, meaning that I love all Muslims, I don't carry any hatred towards others, which Allah is a good thing. But as far as the cleanliness of the heart, when it comes to sins being there, it's not 100% clean. There's filth in it because of a sin. But again, if a person do a good deed physically, mashallah, we hope that this is a sign of the cleanliness of the heart, but the person has to make sure that it's sincerely done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are many things actually with the issue of the khushu'a, and to make it, to sum it up, and inshallah we continue next time, there are two things. If we really talk about the salah, which is the most important thing that we need to observe the khushu'a in, there are things that are done by the heart, the whole life of a Muslim, and things specifically related to the salah. The first thing is our life, our actions, our relationships, where we go, right, in our day, that will affect our salah. So every single thing that we do, every single word we say, right, if it's a good thing that will elevate one's iman, that affects one's salah. If a person commits sins, state of forgetfulness, whatever, it affects also the salah. And that's one of the things that the early generations of Islam, they feared when it comes to sins. It's not the sin versus a good deed and the balance and the day of judgment and that's it. It's the effect of the sin in their daily ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One will be deprived from the night prayer because of a sin. And we mentioned that many times. Like Abdullah Mubarak, when he was asked, a man told him, I cannot perform the night prayer. He said, Kabbalat khafi'atu. Your sin chained you down. You cannot get up because you're chained. By what? By your sins. Right? So they used to relate anything that happens to them, bad, and when we say bad, it's not necessarily something physical bad, something when it comes to the matters of the deen. You're not able to recite Quran. You're not able to give charity. You're not able to make the salah al-khushu'a. We always have to reflect upon ourselves. It's because of our own sins. We need to do something. There's problems that we have. We need to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take the means, and so on. So this is one level. And with the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the khushu'a, to give us the concentration, and so on. And the second type is to follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ when it comes to the salah, one of which is the most important act in our day is the salah. There's nothing more important than the salah. This is something that we have to decide it first. We have to make sure that this is clear in our hearts, that this is the most important thing. Everything else is means to, for us to establish the salah in the proper way, not the opposite, right? We have means and goals. The goal in our life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The most important act of worship is the salah. Everything else is supposed to serve the salah, not the act, not the opposite. And this is the meaning again of the hadith al-Qudsi, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this is an authentic one, Musnad Imam Ahmad, this is a life-changing hadith, in which it says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا الْمَالِ لِإِقَامِ الصَّلَاةِ. We brought down wealth, money, that people fight over, that their life is all about this, and money, by the way, is not the cash money, is anything that you have, that you can sell, that you die for, that you're busy for, your house, your clothes, your food, your money, the things that makes people busy. The hadith says that we brought down wealth to establish the salah. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us wealth? For you to establish the salah. Not that the salah to establish the wealth. So we make the salah so that Allah will make our business better, so that Allah will bless our money and so on. This is not we make the salah for. No, we work, we earn, we take means, so that we have the ability to go and make the salah without thinking, oh, what am I going to do? I have to feed my family and so on. So you would fix that part so that you would make your salah, so that you would have the ibadah, so that you would go for hajj and umrah, so that you would give charity. Because this is the goal. Everything else is to serve this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that is capable of all things. He could have created us in such a way that you don't have to seek provisions. Provisions comes to you, from the heavens like that. You just worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something that is easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this is not how we are created. Right? We're created in such a way that you have to, you have to take the means. You cannot just relax like this, but as a test for us to see what's the goals and what's the means, and you would not lose anything. Shaitan whispers, makes the person feel that if you change the way that you look into things, you become poor and you miss out and so on. There is no way, it's never been the case, and it would never be. But it's only things in the heart and the mind of the person that is never true. A person put his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make things straight in his life. What is the goal of my life? What I want from this dunya? To worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to seek the pleasure of Allah, you will find things become easy for the person. So this is a life-changing understanding that we get from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that everything's supposed to serve the salah, which is the most important thing in our day, in our life. Right? So we won't compromise it by any means whatsoever. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the khushu'a in our salah. Wa sallallahu sallam ala Muhammad wa sallam. We continue.